Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Great to have you with us as we explore another source you've shared. Today, we're looking at Andreas Antonopoulos, specifically how he became such a key figure in making Bitcoin understandable.
Right. It's a fascinating topic. He really helped demystify something incredibly complex for a lot of people.
Exactly. And our main source here is an interview he did on the Joe Rogan Experience. That was back on September 7, 2016, episode hashtag 844.
Ah, yes, a good one.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Let's unpack who Andreas Antonopoulos is, why his work matters so much, and how he acts as this translator almost for these big digital ideas.
A translator is a good way to put it. He really bridges a gap.
Okay, so let's start with his background. As mentioned in that interview, he's called a Bitcoin entrepreneur,
hmm
and he was on advisory boards for several Bitcoin startups, plus chief security officer for blockchain. That's blockchain.com, the company, right? Not the tech itself.
Yeah, exactly. Blockchain.com. And those roles, they're really significant, especially back then.
How so? What does that tell us?
Well, think about it. Being on advisory boards in the early days, that means he wasn't just watching. He was actively, shaping things, helping guide these new companies in a totally new space.
Right, when everything was still being figured out.
Precisely. And the chief security officer role at blockchain.com, that's huge too. Securing a decentralized system presents unique challenges way beyond typical IT security.
So it shows deep technical understanding.
Deep technical and conceptual understanding. He had to grasp the implications, the vulnerabilities, the philosophy, and then communicate that. It helped legitimize the whole thing when many still saw Bitcoin as, well, pretty out there.
And that communication part leads us nicely to his book, mentioned in the source, The Internet of Money. Available in paperback, Kindle, made very accessible.
Yes. And that title alone, The Internet of Money, is brilliant.
Why do you say that?
Because it immediately frames Bitcoin correctly, not just as like weird internet cash, but as a fundamental protocol, like TCP/IP, but for value, a new layer for the internet.
Okay, so how did he make that concept clear? Because it still sounds pretty abstract.
Right, and that's his gift. You could think of his work, especially that book, as being like a Rosetta Stone for digital finance.
The Rosetta Stone. Okay, I like that. Translating the hieroglyphics of crypto.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It translates the dense technical language of Bitcoin and blockchain into concepts regular people can actually connect with. He builds the why, not just the what.
And you mentioned bridging a gap earlier.
Exactly. Another way to see it is that he's like an engineer building a sturdy bridge over a complex technological chasm.
Mm.
He allows people who aren't necessarily hardcore techies to cross over to understand the core idea, this decentralized digital currency, without getting totally bogged down in the cryptography or the code.
So it's about grasping the concept, the potential impact.
Absolutely. He empowers people to understand why it matters,
Yeah.
the shift it represents for society, for finance, and that kind of accessible explanation, that kind of passionate educator. It's vital for any new technology to really catch on.
That really paints a clear picture. The Rosetta Stone, building bridges, it underlines his crucial role as an educator, an interpreter.
Definitely. He wasn't just an entrepreneur or a security guy.
Mm.
He was and is arguably one of its most important evangelists and teachers.
So pulling it all together, his contribution is really about making the complex accessible, shaping how we even think about Bitcoin.
hmm Which leads to an interesting thought, perhaps for you listening.
Go on.
What complex topic in your own life, maybe something you're learning or dealing with, might benefit from a really clear, accessible explanation? Like the kind Antonopoulos provides for Bitcoin.
That's a fantastic question to ponder, something to really think about. Well, we hope this deep dive gave you some valuable insights into Andreas Antonopoulos and his work.
Hope so, too.
If you enjoyed it, please do follow, like, and share the deep dive. It really helps others find the show. And for more on digital finance and related topics, make sure to follow What Bitcoin Taught Me, though on Twitter X, Nostr, Bluesky, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Plenty of places to connect.
Stay curious.
Thanks for tuning in.